Welcome to Katrinka LOL. And we've got Pippin here again, visiting us on the set. So today I wanted to go back to the discussion on ageism and talk about weight as a aspect of ageism. Now, as we get older, we tend to put on some weight, and that's just kind of normal as people go through life. So there was one time that I overheard a young person saying to their grandmother, "Grandma, you put on weight," and actually looking at Grandma, she didn't look that bad. Well, she didn't look bad at all. So I can imagine how ashamed Grandma felt about that. And, not everyone knows what's really going on with Grandma. What's going on with her metabolism. Does she have a medical condition like a thyroid condition or something like that? Has she been through an illness that tends to cause weight gain, So shaming someone like that is really harmful. And where I think this comes from is diet culture. Now, diet culture is pervasive in our culture here in the United States. And thinness is an ideal, and everyone's trying to strive for that and everything. And it's great to want to be healthy, but only wanting to be thin, that's where we get into trouble. Now here's some of my feelings about this issue. I don't think it's normal to be obsessed with weight and discussing it constantly. And some people do that. I mean, the topic turns to, what diet are you on? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight? Whatever, and that kind of thing. And I really think there's more to life than that. So that's just my feeling on the matter. So fat shaming, which is what that is when someone says with a certain tone, "Oh, you've put on weight," kind of thing. This can make weight gain worse because the person feels stressed and then they want to eat. So that's something to think about. And as usual, I have some articles that I brought so that we can talk about this a little bit. All right. So what is diet culture? When you're surrounded by something, when you're swimming in a sea of it, you can't see it. But when it's pointed out to you, then maybe you can see it. It's according to this article from withinhealth.com, diet culture is extremely insidious and pervasive throughout society. And by the way, I'm going to link, as usual, these articles that I talk about so that you can go there and read them yourself. Because I'm not going to read the whole thing, just some highlights. It can have extremely negative effects on many people's health and well-being. So it's important to talk about this, So okay. So researchers have described diet culture as a moral hierarchy of bodies fueled by health myth. It's in part perpetuated by widespread discussion of dieting in the media. I mean, you go to any bookstore and there's just shelves of diet books and this and that, and there's like diet tips on news shows or whatever. All right. And then it goes on to say, diet culture goes beyond these diets and extends to the way that food, exercise, bodies, and health are viewed, discussed, and valued. So diet culture encourages dieting behaviors which are associated with long-term health consequences like loss of muscle from repeated weight loss attempts, weakened bones, high blood pressure, and chronic inflammation. And it can contribute to eating disorders. So there's more to it than that. There's more to it than dieting. There are myths surrounding what it means to be healthy. So what they're doing, diet culture is doing, is saying, well, if you're thin, that equals healthy, and that's not always the case. And categorizing foods as good and bad. And then women should aspire to be thin, grandma. And then a few other things here that they talked about. So, this is a good article that you can read, and I'll link below. And let's go to the next one. This is from the University of Colorado in Boulder. 5 things to know about diet culture. So here's some highlights. What can it look like? And one thing is idealization of body. So filters and altered images. Wow. Social media is wrought with body distorting filters and highly edited images. So unqualified advice from people who really might not know what they're talking about. And then attaching moral value to certain foods. Food is food. It's not good or bad. Oh, and here's another one. Earning food, which is like, well, did I go to the gym today? If not, I can't have that snack or whatever, So, and then this is one of my pet peeves, is that when people are constantly talking about it, they're talking about diet and exercise and, what's the best advice and all this stuff. And personally, it gets tedious to me. Okay, so diet culture can be harmful in many ways, and this article talks about that. And then how to find support for yourself and others. So I enjoyed this article. Now, there's another article from NPR. Diet culture is everywhere. Here's how to fight it. All right. So they say that diet culture is that collective set of social expectations telling us that there's one way to be, and one way to look, and one way to eat, and that we're a better person if our bodies are a certain way. So people who think they're focusing on health or fitness might be just rebranding the diet culture. And this doesn't mean that you shouldn't be eating healthy, not at all. So it talks about body mass index and health and beauty standards are not absolute, and that's very true. All right, and they go into more detail on what they mean by that. And then okay, so I guess it concludes by saying be intentional with the language you use and the commentary you'll accept. And here's a comment that you hear. You look great. Have you lost weight? Which is a reinforcement of the idea that thinner is better. But also, keep in mind that people lose weight for medical reasons sometimes. You know, like maybe they were just diagnosed with cancer, and so you're saying, you look great if you lost weight. It kind of could be shocking to them to hear. And then they talk about intuitive eating, and I really think that is pretty much what we used to do. And befriending your body, and that was another good article. So here's one last article, Medical News Today, and this was written by a registered dietitian. So diet culture is a set of myths and expectations around food and weight, which typically equates thinness to health, and it categorizes food into good or bad types. So that, we talked about that just a second ago. So how can it be negative? Well, 1 is a negative body image, 2 is disordered eating, mental health difficulties like depression, anxiety, and then it has some tips on how to overcome diet culture. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and if you go to the articles, I hope you enjoy those as well. And let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about this entire idea? We'll see you in the next video.